Hi, friends. Hi, family. Thank you so much for tapping in with us, for tuning in with us. You're in for a treat. This is our first episode of a Hemi.Wav podcast. So you're going to get to go through this experience with us. We are built on a collective of highly creative individuals that are highly focused on collaboration and authenticity. So expect nothing less from this from us. I am so honored to kick this episode off with BackLeft. If you're not familiar with BackLeft, you're going to be very familiar with BackLeft by the time we get done with this. We are not only focused on the music, we're also focused on the artists, the people that actually create this art for us, that pour from such an intentional space, that show up with vulnerability, creativity, authenticity to share these innerscapes with us. So we're going to kind of dive into different people's processes, mindsets, journeys through all of this. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Justin, for being here with us. So let's kick it off. Let's just kind of give people an introduction about who you are, not only as an artist, but who you are as a person, how you found this path, and yeah.
Cool. Thank you for having me. My name's Justin Douville. I go by BackLeft. The name came from an accounting information systems class that I took in college. I sat in the back left corner and would read the Ableton manual and make music and whatnot. And I ended up failing that class. It was the only class that I failed in college. But I got into music I started at Program Council at CU. I started in the music industry club and then got into Program Council, started doing accounting and booking sort of stuff for them. And I met through one of the music industry club events a couple guys that I ended up managing because I was a business school student and wanted to do the management thing. Eventually ended up getting a copy of Ableton for the sake of the artists, kind of, and then I ended up making music, and one of the guys that I was working with ended up booking all his own shows, so I didn't do any of the manager stuff, and I was making music. So I ended up just kind of kept making music from there. I used to be in a dubstep sort of duo, and we would play at the Fox Theater in Boulder, and then I got into Slugwife, and I found out about the Black Box, and I started taking lessons from Vibe Squad, and I started to get a lot more into the sort of psychedelic bass music, I guess you could say. Yeah. So that was when the BackLeft project started, and lots of funny stories from the beginnings of that. First show that I played, I bounced a lot of I exported a lot of tunes incorrectly, and I ended up having to use Mark M. Port's USB to play half a set, and very choppy at the beginning, but then COVID happened. I had a ton of time to work on music, which COVID obviously was bad, right? But it was a lot of time to sort of hone the craft, and a lot of the guys that I looked up to were streaming them making music and stuff at that time. So that's where it kind of started to take off, and I got really involved in the community. But yeah, I've been in Denver for 6 years, I think, and before that I was in Boulder for 4. So I've been in Colorado for quite some time, but leaving soon, but we'll be back, of course.
So growing up, were you I want to be an electronic music producer? What did you want to be when you grew up? Where did that vision segue into your life?
Yeah, absolutely not. That was it was a sort of a curveball for me because when I was a kid, I used to video camera record with my friend Phil Toby. And that was my foyer or whatever it would be called into creative stuff. So me and Phil would do you pause your camera and it looks like you teleported or stuff like that. I would make videos of my stuffed animals fighting each other and stuff, and named them all after natural disasters. So there was hurricane and tornado and stuff. But that was how I got into creative stuff. And then I started playing guitar later in high school. Because I was trying not to spend my Christmas money on bad stuff. And so I ended up buying a guitar and a looping pedal. And so I would just play over a looping pedal for hours on end and learn how to improvise and stuff. That got into me and my friend Tom. He put me onto Logic. So we would make rap tapes and under my parents' basement, made a recording studio and would record rap and stuff. And then that was a lot of what I did in college was just freestyle sort of rapping stuff. which didn't really scale. So I got into like electronic music production from there, like in the college times when I was doing the management stuff and whatever. And then it just kind of like turned into what it is today. It's like a focal point of my identity at this point.
It's so funny how we find those segues and those avenues that pull us into it, and it just like expands in ways that we never believed it would expand in.
Totally.
And where like these versions of ourselves can look back and like our youngest version of ourselves would never believe where we're at, never believe the things we're making. So when you were coming into it, was there any like specific artists? I know you mentioned the Black Box. I love that. That is such a legendary venue. Nicole, the owner, is such a legend in herself. Are there any other spaces or people or places that really empowered you, or you feel like inspired you, or you consider it to be like a mentor and you were like, I want to be like this, I want to do things like this, I love their sound design, I love how they move in this industry? Like, who were those people, those spaces for you?
Yeah, totally. Biggest inspirations when I started making like the kind of stuff that I make now were like Cursa, Kyoto, Resonant Language, Restraint, like kind of a little bit later on, who I'm still very close with him. I'm still very close with Kyoto as well. And it's been cool to like develop friendships with those people I really looked up to, and still do. But I spent a lot of time around the Black Box, and like Keisha Antoinette, like definitely big shout out to her for getting me the opportunities that I got. Like I definitely spent a lot of time there just saying thank you to the staff whenever I left. And then that developed into like some relationships that I still have. And like, that was where I found a lot of the community, was like that specific venue, and then like meeting people there and like trying to make music with as many people as physically possible, which I still try and do.
Yeah, and you know, that makes so much sense for you being such a key factor in Hemi.Wav. If you're not familiar with Hemi.Wav, it started as a collective founded by Skinny Lim's beautiful, beautiful brainchild vision of his. And it was to just have fun and make music and do what you love with a group of friends that feel aligned to do it with. And from that, Skinny Limbs connected with Yoko, Emmy, then connected with you, and then you three kind of set that foundation for what it is today, which is now a label. And not just a label, but a label that chooses to do things their own way, that chooses to do things in a way that intuitively feels good to all of us, while also putting on artists that feel aligned with us and inspirational to us. And it doesn't have to be a big name artist. It can be somebody just starting out. And so I think it's so important to kind of reflect on that and the importance of community when it comes to collaboration. So what would you say when it comes to collaboration, like how do you think your project has grown and expanded as a result of collaboration, whether it is with Hemi.Wav or other artists on EPs or tracks? Like, how do you feel like your community has fueled what your success is today?
Yeah, I mean, it gives me, it's definitely helped me on like a lot of levels, both like personal and like in music stuff. Like obviously there's the opportunity to learn from people, whether it's like you're collaborating in person or they're sending projects back and forth or whatever. There's just, everybody does it differently, you know? So being able to pick up like little tricks and stuff with people or share that, you know, from my end has been like really incredible. I've collaborated with everybody, I think, on Hemi.Wav at this point. And a lot of people just in Denver in general. Like it's really nice to be able to get friendships and then have people to support, like that mutual support for one another. Like a lot of people don't get to experience that like in life in general, like a community that's as strong as this one is. So it's cool. And just like exchanging ideologies and stuff, like there's some really, really smart people doing this stuff and like surrounding it. And you just meet some incredible characters with like really cool ideas that you end up like absorbing, and they help you develop as a person. And yeah, I've found a lot of my best friends through this stuff. Like, it's incredible.
Same. And to see like, speaking to Hemi.Wav, but in all collectives, all labels, like there's so much diversity, and it's like you'll find your favorite artist and then you'll see them collab with an artist that might be in a different soundscape or range or realm than them, but when they come together, it's absolute magic. And you're like, I would have never thought to smash these two together, but like, holy cow, this is phenomenal. And you're one of those people that you have such a unique sound design, but it doesn't matter who you collaborate with, like it turns into this metamorphosis of sound that is, you love even more. I know you just played a show with Breadwinner. That looked phenomenal. That's your roommate?
Yes. Yes,
So what is
roommate,
it like
bestie.
creating with somebody that you live with? Like, do y'all sit around and bounce ideas off each other all the time? Or is
Yeah.
it just when you feel inspired? Or what is it like living with somebody you can collaborate with?
It's cool because it always happens very naturally, where it's like one of us will walk into the other person's space while we're like working on stuff, which he's really incredible work ethic. Like that guy is constantly doing stuff, like constantly making music, all different genres. He's taught me like a ton, from when he was making more like heavier sort of bass music to now he's sort of moved into a different sort of space. And that was like a lot of the music that we played at that show, that Echo Mountain show, was like psytrance and, you know, psydub and weird sampled stuff. And I don't know, he's like an incredible inspiration. And yeah, I just get to walk into his room, sit on the couch. He'll work on something when he's, you know, fed up or when he's stuck or when he's not. Yeah, it's
you
just
do
like
it for a little bit.
exactly. And we just like exchange back and forth, and that's created, you know, like 15 to 20 songs, and we've gotten to both play them at our own sets, and they become set pieces. And it's weird getting to work with somebody that consistently develops this new thing. Like you were saying, like you smash two things together, and it's really cool to look at. You build like a world with that person, and it's really cool.
It's interesting because there's some people in my experience that I've worked with, it's like they find it really easy to collaborate and it really motivates them and drives them. And then there's some people that sometimes it's fear around collaboration. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, I'm just attached to my vision and like, I don't know if we can make our visions match. But you get like two kinds of people that love to collab and people that have a lot of fear around it. Has there ever been a point where you were like, had that fear around collaboration, or like, what if people don't see me? What if they don't hear me? What if they don't get the vision? Like, have you had times in your trajectory where you have felt like you were isolated in it, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's like definitely, it's like kind of reflective of like a greater life skill of just compromise and, like communication in general, because like you said, it's like it's very important. People hold their art very close to them and they take it seriously and they're very protective of it and defensive of it and stuff. So I've definitely been able to reach those compromises a lot, whether it's like foregoing like pushing my thing, you know, just like saying, okay, cool, I'm actually going to let that one go because this seems to be important to the other person. Or if it's like making my voice heard, doing that in a way that's not going to be, you know, like aggressive or oppressive or whatever. I've thankfully had a lot of luck when it comes to collabing with people. Like the worst thing that ever happens usually is it just sort of dead ends, and that's fine, but we still had fun. Like most of the time it will yield something playable. Like most of the time I end up playing the tracks or finishing the tracks or whatever it is. So, yeah.
Well, and that's parallel to life. It's like a relationship. Like sometimes we're in these situations and for a couple months, it's like, yeah, this really sets me on fire. I have a lot of passion behind it. Like, this is great. And then it falls off. So I feel like creative relationships kind of mirror like a friendship or relationship, like a business relationship, any kind of other thing we have in our life. And sometimes it can burn with a very long trajectory and sometimes it has a short runway. And so, you know, as we grow as artists, as you grow as a creative, you've been doing this for how many years now?
I've been making music for 11 years, but I've been making electronic music for like 8, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's like a lot of people that you have had the opportunity to connect with, to get to know. And whenever you pull music into it, when you pull any kind of art into anything, art comes from the soul. It comes from that center space, and which is sometimes a very vulnerable space. Sometimes we don't want to let people in to that creative process. It's hard for us to share our art. Another hard thing with artists that I've noticed is just release the track, like put it out. Nobody is looking at that and being like, oh, this track doesn't sound done to me. Go back to the studio. So I feel like that comes not only from a place of fear sometimes, but like a creative block. Like, I don't know how to move past this track to get it to the point where I feel like it's releasable. How do you know when a track is done?
When I'm pretty sick of it, I guess.
When you're fed up, you're like...
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. That part sucks. Like finishing music is not fun because a track is never really done. You'll like hear people say that. You could always continually work on it, change sections, extend it, work on the mix down. Mix down is a term that people throw around. It's not an objective thing. Like it is like people try to stick to like sort of hard rules, I guess, in like the mix. And I have some of that like structure so that I can repeat you know what I mean? And create something that's consistent, or have a reference to be able to like compare against my own stuff. But I don't know, something that's helped me finish music a lot lately is like referencing music that I like. So I'll bring in a track that, you know, is good or whatever by my standards, because again, it's so subjective. But 1 or 2 or 3 tracks like that, I'll look at like visual tools. So like spectral analyzers, and like there's something called like tonal balance control 2, which is like an isotope plugin or whatever. But just things that can give you like a visual cue of, are you on the right track? Because if you do it totally blind, you're going to end up like hating the song, ruining the song, which I've done literally over 100
like
times.
overworking it?
Yep. Yeah. Just like over surgically like ruining it when it was good before, but you felt like there was
Should've
effort
left
that
it.
needed to be
Yeah.
put in. Yeah. So then you put that effort in, and it takes you far away from like the result that you should have had. But yeah, you learn that lesson over time.
It's so funny because I'll have artists send me, I'll be like, send me a playlist that I can send to promoters and talent buyers with your unreleased tracks. Like, let's just share with them, show them that you're working on things, like what it is you're working on, where your sound design is going. And it's like, you will get 5 releases out of these artists a year. They'll send you an unreleased playlist, and it's like 50
millions of
tracks
songs.
just straight
Yeah.
up fire. And
Totally.
I'm like, bro, like, let it out. It's so hard. But I feel like that's kind of where community plays back into, and collaborating. Like when you have that person that you trust beside you, that's kind of like your cheerleader, and like, yeah, this shit is sick. Like, let's put it out. And you kind of can keep each other moving through that. Do you have any like resources or like books, podcasts, things like that that you resort to when you're like, this is how I want to learn. This is where I want to increase my sound design. This is where I want to like learn more about my craft. Like, what are your outlets that you go to learn outside of other producers or artists?
Yeah, I like the books on like really abstract stuff, like the approach of writing music. Like you can learn technical tricks, millions of them, you know, and if you employ 50% of them, that's cool too, but that's not going to finish music. There's like this book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, that's really good for,
I read that.
yeah, it's great,
It's a great
for
book.
for showing like what the actual process of creating is like. And sort of romanticizes it in a way that gets you excited to like push through the obstacles and the barriers. That was like really helpful toward the beginning. It's a short book too. The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin. He was like a world Tai Chi champion and a world chess champion. The book or movie Chasing Bobby Fischer was like made after him, but he talks about sort of the interdisciplinary things you learn between like things like skill sets. So even if you're not working on music, you're working on something else, there's stuff you can pull from other like skill sets or like endeavors. So that's one that I constantly think about as I'm doing anything in life, because that's where you're drawing the inspiration from. You're not drawing it from being in the process of making music a lot of the time, you know, or for me. And especially as time goes on, I've learned a lot of the technical tricks, or I've learned a lot of sort of like, I'm more here on the learning curve. Not that I'm not bragging in any way, shape or form, but it's more so just like,
Do you feel like you're on a rise?
Yeah,
you're
like-
hitting a threshold with it.
Yeah.
Momentum with it.
like, I think making music is about challenges. So there's this book Flow by this guy Mahali, I don't know how to say his last name, but it's really long. He talks about like flow states, and there's this graph that he has. So it's like the y-axis is challenge and the x-axis is skill level. So if you have the perfect balance of challenge and skill level, you'll hit a flow state, which is where you sort of like lose your identity. You like lose sense of time, and like you're creating. And that's like the ideal. That's the reason everybody's like addicted to it, basically, or me anyways. So like, that's a really good book that talks about that. But again, the challenges is sort of the thing that like creates music. So as you learn more of the technical stuff, you need to find ways to introduce problem solving and challenges. So like I've started to get really abstract with that, like reading sci-fi books and trying to recreate sounds from sci-fi books, you know, in the DAW or whatever, just to try to spark something. And then once that gets sparked, you hit the flow state and you kind of like launch into writing the music. But yeah, I think that answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. But that leads me to my next question. So like, where would you say, like, what would you credit to be, this is where when I need inspiration, when I need to find that creativity, where do you source that from? Or when you feel like you are hitting those challenges or you are hitting those creative blocks. And sometimes, like, I don't know, me as a creative, I'll hit that block and I'm like, I'm done with it. I literally am just like, I can't do it anymore. How do you push through that? Like, what are your tactics to get through those creative blocks, to get through those discouraging moments, to move through those harder seasons of being an artist and a creative and a producer?
Yeah, like as far as finding inspiration, it's like getting around people that I love, getting in new places, and reading books. I really enjoy that. Like, or shows, like the shows are great because you can like sample them and stuff. Like I used to watch a lot of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and it's basically just purely dialogue. So it's really good to sample. And that would be just something I throw in a tune, and then it's like, okay, it starts to build this vibe, and then I can like chase that down. The other thing I'll do if I can't write music, because it doesn't always come like that, you don't always have the energy or the drive to do it. So just making assets to make music with, like,
So
that
like
is
little pieces that you can later come back, so kind of like a sketch.
yeah.
Like you just do a little sketch with a clip or a sample, and then you come back to that when you're feeling inspired.
Exactly. Or sound design. Like I will record sound design like in audio, or I'll make patches or whatever for synthesizers, and I'll just save them for later. And then when I go to write a tune, when I actually feel like ready to do that, I have this huge catalog to pull from that's all come from me. Like it's originated from me. So it's like a sound palette that I've like generated that's naturally going to just slot into place and sound like me. You know what I mean? So it's like developing tools in the meantime, I think.
Do you feel like your music leans more into the focus is specifically on the sound design, or do you ever feel like there's a feeling or an emotion or an experience you're trying to translate?
Yeah,
Or both?
yeah, that's a good question. I like this. So the sound design for me is my strong suit, I guess, in the sense that I always want to make sounds. Like that's like my thing. I spent in the first 5 years I made music, like electronic music, way more time making sounds than I did making music, because I like that. You know what I mean? It's like an endless pit for me to just fall into. I've tried to get better at like the songwriting, music theory, like stuff like that, as time has gone on, because it's like, you try to fill the gaps as time goes on. But as far as like what I'm trying to convey, I have like a physical space that I've like sort of built out in my head over the years. Like I like the beach a lot, and I think space shit and trippy shit is cool. So like I've spent a lot of time like developing like a physical place in my head. Or there was like a book I tried to write when I was in high school. But
I'm gonna need a copy of that.
yeah, exactly. It's only like 4,000 or 5,000 words, but it's like
archived.
yeah, it's on an old laptop. But like stuff like I don't know. It's just like there's always been like a physical like component for me, like a place.
Environmental.
Yeah, just like a space that I see in my head, and I've never been able to like properly translate that like visually. It's always something I'm like chasing down or trying to find people to help me work on those projects. But like that is like a great place for inspiration for me. I think like writer's block in general for music is like really difficult to come by if your process is strong enough to generate ideas. So I don't find too many issues like with that, I guess. Sometimes I'm just sleepy. Yeah.
We all get sleepy. Burnout is a real thing in this industry. So that's a segue to another question. There's some things that are just undeniable about a creative's path, about an artist's path. I love that you reference the book Art of War, because a lot of times being an artist can feel like war, whether it's war with the world around you and you have things that you want to revolutionize through your art, get a message out through your art, or maybe it's war with yourself. And it's no secret we all deal with challenges, struggles, change, different seasons flowing in, flowing out, anxiety, imposter syndrome, sometimes substance abuse, sometimes social anxiety. Like there's so many layers that goes into not only being a creative, but just being involved in the environment of shows. So what would you say has been some of your past that you feel like may have been a little shadowy for you, and how did you get back from those paths? Yeah,
the one specific instance that comes to mind is in 2023. I had I was not taking care of myself very well. I started to seek out sort of like assistance with some of my habits, and then I ended up having a seizure behind the wheel of my car. found out I had like a very small benign brain tumor and epilepsy, and I lost my job, and it all kind of happened like at one time. And I didn't have a job for like 6 months. So during that time, I really sought out like ways to improve my habits. And like improve my lifestyle, and music took a huge backseat during that time. So it was very like isolating and felt very lonely. Like I started to really lose touch with all the people that I had spent all this time building relationships with, and it felt like they were moving on without me. And that was like a really tough time. But like it all came back around, and all those people were still there when I was ready to come back. You know what I mean? So
that's community, you know, and like that is the beautiful thing about having that foundation and community behind you. Because when we do start to lose ourselves, or we do go through these things where it's like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, our community has such a way of reminding us who we are, how talented we are, and that we can do it with the support and the strength of them. So outside of community, like what would you say steps of self-care you took to get back on path? Like, did you find a physical practice? Did you find a meditative practice? Did you find more discipline within your daily routine? Like, what were your steps to get back on track?
Yeah, I realized like a really strong focal point for me is like going to the gym. Like I need to just like physically like move and through. Yeah, like it helps with a lot of things. Like it's like chemically it's got an impact. Like it helps me eat better. Like cuz I've had issues with like eating in the past, and so like going to the gym makes my body hungry, and so I'll eat more and I'll drink more water when I'm at the gym. And I like to like sometimes like I'll read when I'm on like a spin bike, or like when I'm like in the sauna or whatever. And saunas actually are great. I don't know if you're a big sauna person.
Release, dumping. I'm a big movement person. I'm a big sauna person. I'm a big ice bath person.
Yep.
I personally think that the way to move energy through, whether it's creative or mental, is to physically move it through your body. I think it's so interconnected. And so many people that I've connected with, talked through, worked with, like that is their path of self-care. They're like, I found a movement practice. And people think of movement as so much of being in the body, but movement also is so much in the mind, and I think it doesn't get enough credit for what it can do to put us back on track. So I love to hear that.
Totally. Yeah, like pattern breaking and stuff is like, it's a good way to do that. Like I have mornings are typically the worst for me when it comes to like mental health stuff. And sometimes I'll launch straight into, you go on the phone, you kind of do the dopamine chase thing for a little while. It's a horrible way to start your day, whatever. But, if you just like get in your car and go to the gym, or you go for a walk, or you like pattern break, you just change your environment and change what you're actively like doing. It's the only thing that will really get me out of that headspace. And then once I'm in a better headspace, I can present to people and be a good friend to my friends and make music and do all the things that I like to do. So it's like such a crucial part of my daily routine.
100%. I like to say me first mentality when I wake up. Like my friends know that when my day starts, like it has to start with me, so I can show up for you. And what that looks like is, if you have to take a walk, if you need to take that drive, if you need to go to the gym, if you need to take that 30 minutes to make yourself a nice breakfast, like have that me first mentality. And so often we think me first is a selfish thing, when reality it's not. Like it's making sure that you're good in yourself so you can show up for your community, so you can do this podcast, so you can release a track with Hemi.Wav, so you can play that next big show. So speaking on that, big things on the horizon for BackLeft. We have some heavy hitting shows coming up we can't talk about yet, but might tease and say there might be a Denver BackLeft headline coming in. You just did a mix for Electric Hawk. You've been plugging in left and right, collaborating, playing shows all over. What would you say success in this season is to you?
Yeah. Success in this season, meaning like, what am I looking forward to? Or
like, what makes you feel like, okay, I'm successful in this moment, in this season? Like, I don't need more shows. I don't need to release the perfect track. Like, what is it that is like, you know what? I'm really happy with where I am now, and I'm excited for where I'm going. Yeah,
this is really fucking difficult because external like validation is a thing that a lot of people in the music industry will pursue, myself included. Like as an artist, it's like you want to be getting the things that you're seeing because it's a way that validates all the time that you've put into your art, this thing that's so close to you and whatever.
Do you play that competition game, or that, not competition, that comparison game where you're like, oh, I want to be here and I want to be that? And like, do you ever play the comparison of my songs don't sound like that, or I'm not doing that yet? Like
when I do that, it's the most let down I'll ever be and the worst I'll be to the people around me. Like not in like an explicit where I'm like externalizing on them and like being an asshole, but like I want to be there to be happy for my friends. Like that's a number one thing for me when it comes to all this stuff. So if somebody else gets an opportunity that I want, I try to dissociate from that as quickly as possible and just be there and be excited for them, because everything will roll everybody's direction.
100%.
Just keep fucking working, keep supporting like all the people around you that are supporting you, or that aren't, you know what I mean? Like
Or that aren't.
yeah.
Like, you don't have to. We don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. It is interesting to watch how the industry, how artists perceive that, like, I want this and I want to do that, and that comparison game, it manifests as jealousy, and that's seen as a bad thing, whereas I personally don't see jealousy as a bad thing. If I'm jealous of something, then I'm like, they're showing me and mirroring to me what I want to do, but not only what I want to do, what I know I'm capable of doing. So then I'm going to beat myself up over it because I'm not there yet. So in my mind, I see a lot of those things as momentum and as fuel to my fire. And like, do you feel like sometimes that can fuel your fire and like really give you the boost and the kick in the ass that you need?
For sure. As long as I can derive like what my actual path is, like using that information, like a bunch of my friends played like the Tipper shows, you know what I mean? That was like a really, really big goal of mine. And that never came to fruition for me. And there was a period of time where I was upset about that. And now I'm not, because it's like, I've sort of just taken the time to carve out like what my actual path is and what my calling is and what my strengths are. And that's become like teaching and, I don't know, like learning really technical shit, or like getting into, you know, programming and stuff when it comes to music. Like I just have a different trajectory, you know what I mean?
100%.
And on the success thing, success to me is developing that skill set. That's the only thing that ever gives me like happiness in this, is like getting better at making music, or helping other people get better at making music.
Like watching the evolution of you and the people around you, essentially.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, when we do evolve, we invite the people around us to evolve. Like we were talking about imposter syndrome. It's so much easier to see ourselves in these roles when we see people close to us do it. It's like, oh, wow, like this is my best friend. They just got on Red Rock stage. I can do that. Like you're cut from the same cloth. We start to really see that. But also it's such a long-term vision in this industry. How old are you?
28.
28. So like that is still so young. Tipper is however Tipper is legendary once again, like however old he is. We like to look at Tipper in this like segment of history, or like whoever is really doing it right now in this like moment in time, and we're like, they're so successful, but like their path hasn't always looked that way. It could have taken them 10 to 15 to 20 years. Like for me, this has been a 15-year evolution of music, and I have searched definitely 10 plus years, like trying to find my people, trying to find the community, trying to find the people that my vision aligned with. And like you, Skinny Limbs, Yoko were the first three I found when I landed in Denver painting in a warehouse. And I literally left live painting, and I was like, who are these artists? Like I didn't even know, I'd never thought about being an artist manager, a label head, anything like that. But I just knew like you had this shiny special thing. And now how do I water it? And I think so much of it is being able to find that, like to feel it into people. So how would you say you have like felt your way through this? Like when do you feel like your intuition kicks in? Is it like when you're creating music? Is it when you are aligning with people? Like when do you feel like, how do you know like this is for me?
It's when I'm other people, for sure. It's like whenever I'm on the same wavelength as somebody else and we get to achieve something together, I get to watch them achieve something and I get to be excited for them or whatever. Like the community building part is really the thing. Or like going to shows and looking around and knowing a bunch of people and seeing a smile on their face and giving them a big hug. And like those interactions are like these kind of stopping points where time stands still and I'm like, damn, I'm like really happy I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even not just you as a producer, like you as a teacher is extremely like magnetic to me, because not only are you good, like a lot of artists don't have that external factor, like they're very internalized, and you're somebody that can be very internalized and pull these beautiful soundscapes from your soul to share with us. But also you have the intention, and not only the intention, but the drive and the want to share what you found. And that is something like in this industry, people gatekeep and like everybody holds on to this information I don't really understand because it prevents growth. And so anybody that's willing to teach, that's willing to share, that's willing to open up their voice and be like, hey, it took me 5 years to learn this, but I'm going to teach it to you in an hour. Okay, let's come back to the conversation of you as a teacher. So how long have you been giving lessons?
I've been teaching since I started making music, which is kind of fucked. Because I didn't necessarily know a ton, but it is a really great way to like internalize material that you're learning and like sharing it, talking about stuff, articulating it helps you learn. So like any chance I've had to like talk to somebody or somebody just like sit there and stomach listening to me talk about fucking music, I've taken the opportunity for years. Yeah.
Did you come into that with imposter syndrome? Like, who wants to listen to me? Who deems me to be knowledgeable enough to share? Or were you just like, okay, I'm a teacher?
Yeah. Honestly, no. Like the imposter syndrome comes with the music more than it comes with the teaching because we just figure stuff out together. Like, I feel like that's not as like much of an ego thing, even though it's like you'd think it's like this positioning of I am better than you, so I am teaching you. Yeah. It's more of like a conversation. I learn from people that I'm teaching all the fucking time.
100%.
So, yeah.
For me, teaching yoga, I always love to end my classes. Like, sometimes I will end class in tears because I learned so much from my students in that hour. And, like, yes, I was positioned to be the teacher, but, like, their thought process is the way they move through things. It just, like, opens up and inspires things to me. And it just feels so much bigger than me sometimes. Do you feel like making music, sharing music, teaching music, do you feel like that's bigger than you sometimes? Yeah,
it's what keeps me engaged for sure. Because I'll battle with the idea that I'm feeding my ego through engaging in music. Yeah. Like I've bumped up against that a couple times. And that's where a lot of the pain comes from. Like when you were talking about before, like being jealous of opportunities, or like if I am centric to the whole thing, it starts to fall apart and it starts to feel fake, or it starts to feel like it's not actually like important. It's not about like the art part, and it's further from the flow state part and all that stuff. That part happens when I'm alone in my room or when I'm teaching somebody, you know what I mean? It's not like when I'm in front of a bunch of people playing a show, like it's like that dopamine rush or whatever only lasts for so long, and then you feel really empty. So like the most important part, especially as time goes on for me, is teaching music. I'll be teaching music a lot longer than I'll be playing shows.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. And like, that's legacy, you know, like playing shows is great. It's fun. But like when we're 50, 60, 70, like are any of us going to want to be in the middle of that crowd or like traveling every weekend? Like probably not. So yes, the shows are shiny, the releases, the labels, like these are all really shiny things to us. But when we think longevity, we think legacy, what do we want to walk away with? For me, it's like community, the experiences, but also like knowing that we left that imprint on younger generations. And like you are in a threshold where you're still super young and coming into this and finding your voice and finding your sound in this, but you're also steps ahead of the game for a lot of people. So what would you say to somebody that's just now getting into this, or like maybe doesn't even make music yet, but they look at you and they're like, man, I'm super inspired by this man. I'm super inspired by his sound. I'm super inspired by his story, by his message, like doesn't know how to get into it. Like how would you empower somebody to lean into this avenue and this journey if they feel called to it?
Yeah. Fall in love with the process of creating, like, because that's what you're going to be spending all the fucking time doing. If you're thinking, I want to make music so I can go get the big show and everybody will pay attention to me, you're never going to get there, because the point, like the central experience to all of this is sitting down and making music. To give people like an aspiration to want to do that, I guess on like a greater scale, as opposed to just like the nerd shit, which I fucking love, is like this has taught me more life lessons, like on a microcosm than anything else I've ever engaged with. Yeah. Like, you know, it's given me a community to participate in. It's given me a skill set to be like, you know, an expert in, you know, I'm not an expert. It's like a very subjective term, but like it's given me
master of your craft.
Yeah. Like it's given me like confidence, you know, to engage in it, and like, and just like a thing that I love, you know what I mean? Finding any opportunity to do a thing that I love, like, people don't get to experience that a lot. You know, a lot of people are just sort of like money motivated, will fall into like a 9-to-5 thing, which is sick. I'm jealous of those people a lot of the time, because I know a lot of people that can accomplish and just sit at that level. But for me, I have to be really engaged with whatever I'm doing, which makes me fail at whatever I'm trying to do. That you know what I mean? I can't really stomach doing
like,
things.
The focus like split. It
I
has to
can't
be, like,
fucking pay
focused.
attention.
Yeah.
So like finding a thing that you love and getting like really attached to it and falling in love with it and having the community and having like the skill set to continue to iterate upon like all of that shit is a gift. You know what I mean? Whether that's music or whatever the fuck that is. For me, when I was a kid, it was skateboarding, and that kind of fell off, as time went on or whatever. But like, I don't know, just having a thing that you can express yourself through and build your identity through, like a flow state thing, is really fucking important.
But also discipline, like showing up on those hard days,
Yeah.
knowing that it's bigger than you. When other people are like, what are you doing right now? Like, you need to be able to pay your bills. You need to like keep a stable job. Like, people that aren't creatives don't really see the path. So it takes a lot of faith for us to stay committed to that path and really have that message of like, I don't know how to make you understand what I'm doing, but like, this is what I'm doing and it's for me and it's bigger than me. And I applaud you so much for that. And, we see so many people that just jump to the biggest agency or they jump to the biggest label and they're just like, whatever the shiny thing is, they chase it. But what that does is it gets them off their path so often. And I applaud you because you have stayed so rooted since day one. And like, these are my people. This is my sound. This is my journey. It might not look like everybody else's, but it's mine and I own it and I'm empowered by it. And I'm also going to vulnerably share it with others. So I just want you to know that I find that to be very motivating, very inspiring. How long have you lived in Denver now?
I've lived in Denver for like 6 years, and I've had 5 jobs in those 6 years, and I've lost 5 jobs in those 6 years. So like, but music has always been there for me. So like on what you were just talking about before, like, not chasing outcomes, chasing the process of it, like it will give you back dividends if you're not super attached to like, what is this going to yield for me specific. It's good to have goals and shit, but like just having something to go back to and people to go back to and like the strong foundation when life fucks you in every other direction is really important.
100%. I moved here from the East Coast, and for me it was, I was in the Carolinas, I was in Tennessee, and I was like, we were doing really great, but I was like, I need to be around more of what I love and more people of what I love. And there was an aspect of me that was like, oh, I'll move to Denver, I'll find success. I'm very grateful. Black Box picked me up, Submission picked me up. I aligned with Hemi.Wav and all of you guys. And so it seemed a little bit more effortless, but everybody's advice to me was like, don't get lost in the sauce. Don't fall under the illusion. And me being from the South in a very contained container, I didn't really get what people were trying to tell me. But now that I live in Denver and I watch so many people in other regions be like, I'm going to move to Denver and I'm going to automatically have success. I'm going to automatically have all these artists to collab with. I'm going to have all these shows and opportunities. And they don't realize that there are hundreds of them flooding here to do that. So what is the advice you would give to the people that are like, I'm going to move to Denver and that is going to be success for me? Like, what would you tell those people?
Don't focus on your success, focus on the success of the people around you. If you're not willing to come here and participate and push people up that are around you, you're not going to find any fucking success, because there's plenty of talented people here, and there's plenty of talented people who fall flat on their face because they're too focused on what is this going to give me. And I think that's a greater, again, life, lesson to be taught, is just like pushing up the people around you is the most important thing. It is like the most important thing that life has to offer. There's this book called The Courage to Be Disliked, which is by this dude. I totally forget who the dude is, but yes, totally self-helpy book, but like in a sick fucking way. Really cool, like Adlerian psychology.
Self-help books.
Yes, for real. But like, yeah, it's like a combo of like Adlerian psychology and some like Japanese sort of like philosophy stuff. But what the dude lands on in that book too is like, your main goal in life is to like benefit the lives of other people. And I've found that that's like been sort of the most fruitful thing. So like, if you're going to come to Denver, be ready to go to the Black Box shows on a Tuesday fucking night, to back up your homie when there's 3 people in the room
100%.
And like push all your friends up as much as physically possible. And it'll yield results for you. That's not going to be the end game, really. It's just going to be because, the effort is going to require the engagement. Just focus on the process. Like, the product will come.
100%. I will say when I moved here, I was really attached to my vision of the promotion company. I had good people. But the moment I met Nicole and was introduced to the Black Box and Submission, and I was like, wow, this woman has my same vision and is on the same mission, but she's like my senior and doing it 10 times better than I ever could. So it became to where I set myself on the outside and I was like, I want to do this with you and I want to support this with you. Whereas in Charleston, I feel like it was always a lot about me and my collective, and I felt like everybody was against me. And coming to Denver, there was a lot of avenues for the ego to kick in and be like, oh, I can do this all by myself. But once I surrendered to like, no, I want to do this with you because it's shared vision, it kind of changed the game. Who would you say in Denver shares the same vision as you right now?
John Leitner, Restraint. For sure, because he doesn't give a
best.
fuck about what happens for him. He does not care what happens for him. He will stay up till 3
But
a.m.
makes the sickest music.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
his music is incredible.
If you don't know Restraint, shout out Restraint.
Yeah. No, he'll stay up till 3 a.m. to help me figure out something for my computer. He built my PC for me. He'll do this shit for people purely just to do it for people. Like, that is all that he cares about. Yeah. So, like, yeah, John is for sure, like, a huge role model of mine in a lot of different ways. But that's, like, one of I can't, there's not enough I could give back to that guy, and he still keeps giving to me. It's really fucking hard to catch up. I can buy him whatever I want. But.
For a lot of people, I have heard that about John, and being a personal friend of mine, his partner Sarah has been that for me in female form. Those two are just phenomenal in this realm of what we do, and I think it speaks volumes to what just having one person that's willing to sit in the trenches with you, or when you do hit that block, that is like, hey, I'm here, and if we have to sit up till 4 a.m., like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna work through it, and we're gonna figure it out. And I think that's so valuable. So you have this great support system in Denver. You have had the shows, you've had like all these things considered to be success in Denver, but on your horizon is you're moving to Brooklyn. So tell me what your vision in Brooklyn is. Like, what are you gonna do? What's next?
I want to have all my friends from Denver come to Brooklyn and stay on my couch. That's like one of the biggest things, is like just being an outlet for the people here to like come visit. And then also there's like Woody just moved there, Duffrey, and like Jake Amazon lives over there, and McKaylee, and like, yeah, there's just like a scene that I'm not familiar. Hoopla lives there, scene that I'm not familiar with, and I want to do the same thing that I've done here, but there, like here, I have a house that I live in with Kevin, with Breadwinner, and people come through all the fucking time. Like, it's like constantly just like a rotating door of like homies coming through, making music, fucking around, making jokes, whatever. And it's like this very, like, it's my family, you know what I mean? And I really want to have that there, whether it's people have to get on a plane to come join in on that, or developing like a new version of that maybe doesn't exist there yet or whatever, throwing shows, teaching, doing all that stuff. So
the same thing, but just expanded and with new inspirations around in the form of spaces, people, environments, energy. Yeah,
like meeting new people is always cool for me because I get to introduce people to new people. Like, it's like whenever I'm like kind of in a room with two people that I know, I'll make sure that they know each other. And if they don't know each other, I'll say why they would know each other. Like, it's like, oh, so-and-so. Yeah, like so-and-so knows so-and-so, or so-and-so is from so-and-so place, or whatever. Like, whatever I can do to sort of spark a conversation between them, and then like walk away and try to find another opportunity to do that.
Bridge building.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, bridge building is the opposite of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny when you see people in this industry that can see how the dots connect, but they're like, I'm not going to tell you how the dots connect because in some way I think that threatens my ability to succeed. Whereas there's the other coin of the people that are like, I see how the dots connect, and we can create this beautiful networking web, whether it's across cities or states or even countries. Like, a lot of our artists collaborate with international artists, and that's what it takes to expand. Like, if you don't create that roadway in different places, in different spaces, then it's kind of hard for people to migrate and to really spread their sound with collabs, with label releases. Like, it's not the goal of releasing with a label or like working with that person. It's the goal of merging audiences and sharing messages. And I think that's so important. So I'm excited to see what you do when you get to Brooklyn. I'm also excited to come and crash your pad.
Yes, please do. Please do. I will need company.
You just let me know. I will be on my way. So big picture vision. What is your 10-year goal? We're going to go bigger than 5-year. What's your 10-year goal? Where do you see you at 38?
That's a really good question. I see myself making plugins, for sure, like making software for people to be able to create with, enabling the creative process for people, and teaching. Like, I love fucking playing shows. I love it. There's a lot for me to be done in that realm still. I love making my own music. It's fantastic, but it really is just like a vessel for me to continue to try and impart that onto other people, because it's been like a it's a huge gift in my fucking life. I have no idea where I would be if I didn't have something to so heavily identify with. And so I feel like as many people on the planet as physically possible should have that as well. And that's where I see myself, is just trying to be able to cultivate that in whatever way, whether it's online, YouTube channel, Patreon, whatever bullshit, paid or not paid. It's just like, I just want to participate in that way.
100%. Mm-hmm. So if somebody wants to take a class from you or
hit me up.
A lesson, is it like kind of whatever they want to learn, or do you have like specified classes you teach, or like where do you lean on the spectrum of teaching? Is it production, sound design? Like what is it that you are motivated to share?
Yeah, it's very heavily needs based. So whenever I do a lesson with somebody, I ask them as many questions as I physically possibly can to zero in on what it is exactly that is the gap for them, and what they're trying to like achieve, whether that's something they see in my music. Typically, if they're approaching me, it's something that they appreciate about my music, so I'll try to pick that apart, or I'll just try to understand like what is important to you, what is going to be your silver bullet, like the thing that you like is your huge strength in making music, and I'll try to exploit that strength to get them to a place that they feel more confident, more comfortable, and able to build out from there. Or if they have a weakness, trying to cover the gap of the weakness. But it is definitely like a shit ton of asking questions. I try not to be, unless I'm teaching a larger group, I try not to be general. I try to be super prescriptive about you're paying money for this. I want to make sure that you are getting exactly what it is that you want.
Unique to the student.
Yeah,
Cater to whoever is learning from you and in that position. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So if people wanted to sign up, take a class from you, how do they get in touch with you? Do they email you? Are you responsive on social media? Like, where are you most accessible to people?
Yeah, like Instagram DMs, honestly, is a great way to hit me up. Or emails is okay. Sometimes I miss them. I'm not very good with the emails. The Instagram inbox is kind of the only thing that I'm like decent with, or SoundCloud, like DMs or whatever. But if you show interest, I will respond to you, and we'll set something up. Like I love doing it. So.
Hot take: are you a SoundCloud or a Spotify guy? And why?
Oh, it's such a good question. I don't know. I listen to a shit ton of Spotify just because yeah, that's a good point. Bandcamp is the best. Bandcamp is the best because it's the best way to support artists, period. That's like the best. But SoundCloud is really great for electronic music because it's always so accessible. Like there's no blockade of distribution services.
Dig in SoundCloud in a way that they don't dig on other platforms. Maybe Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's like the producer's hub.
Yeah, for finding artists that are like underground bass scene people, for sure. For finding like other music generally, Spotify has good algorithms, whatever. It's questionable their business model for sure, and the compensation piece. 100%. That's why Bandcamp's so fucking sick. But there's a lot of music on there, and I really like listening to like indie rock stuff and metal stuff and just like whatever else that can get my brain working different.
I like to look at Spotify as more as like an investment piece.
Yeah.
It doesn't like cost us as much as like we don't get back what we should be getting out of it.
For sure.
But it also just like the mainstream listener, it is the portal that can connect you to them. But places like Bandcamp for artists and SoundCloud for artists, I feel like is where like the honeypot kind of is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. So now to the most important question. What's your favorite animal?
Favorite animal? I really like koala bears, even though people say that koala bears are assholes. They sleep
all day.
I know. Well, okay, so they if they eat eucalyptus, then they're all high and shit, but they'll piss on you and they'll like claw at you and stuff.
Is that your spirit animal?
Is the guy? I just piss on everybody. No, but like,
clawing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like scratching at people and stuff. But like, I really like koala bears. I really like sloths. I'm not a sloth personally, but I do envy a lot of their qualities. I wish I was a little bit more subdued at times because I can be kind of like an anxious person, or I can be a lot, like coming at you in a conversation. But yeah, I like both of those.
Okay, so you named it. What is your best koala bear noise?
Oh God. I don't know. What noise do they make? I feel like I should know this because it's my favorite. Just
occasionally like a little stretch on your log, take a bite of eucalyptus and be like...
And just conk
go
back
to
out.
Sleep and then wake up and be like, actually, I just downloaded an idea for a banger.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, love koala bears.
Last thing also, like we talked about the music, I hope everybody feels like they get a better sense of who you are, but not only a producer, not only a teacher, not only an amazing human, you also do your own art. You make bookmarks.
Oh yeah, I do. I did this project like last year where I like drew hand drew bookmarks to try to learn drawing, because like I was saying before, like the interdisciplinary sort of like stuff, like the art of learning, Josh Waite's game with it, like there's just a lot to be learned from other like mediums of art. Plus I realized I didn't really have an eye for visual art, so like I wanted to develop that, given that I had like this idea in my head but I could not describe it when I was doing like like commissions and stuff. So I just like drew bookmarks with Sharpies, black and white, whatever, and then I gave them to all my friends or people that I had met, like, you know, loose acquaintances, whatever, family members, whatever, and just had everybody take a picture, like holding it.
Yeah.
And so I had like 100 of those that I gave out. I still want to continue to do that. I just haven't found the time to like do that.
We're gonna do a BackLeft bookmark merch run.
Yeah.
To go with your headlining show.
I'm fucking down.
An unannounced space in 2026.
Yeah. If you want to see the artwork, check out the Hemi.Wav like Sturdy Trees release.
Love it.
Yeah, or Earth Hurts, same thing.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, I guess my biggest thing with thank you, one, for doing this first episode and being so open, so honest, so vulnerable, so just willing to talk and share who you are. But our biggest thing with this is we really want to infuse a message into these episodes. We really want to connect with our listeners, whether it's through the music, whether it's through the podcast, whether it's through the shows that we curate, the releases that we release on the label. So this is your highlight reel. If you have one message to infuse in this moment in time in music, what would it be that you would leave as your message?
Yeah, I've talked about it a lot during this for sure, but it's definitely support your friends, grow with your friends. It's way more fucking fun than doing it alone, and the alone part is empty. It's you're gonna feel the success of other people better than you're gonna feel the success of yourself, and they'll give you a scope, and you'll get some friends to like, you know, gas you up when things aren't going great, and that's what this shit is about for sure. So I would say just, yeah, support your friends.
100%. It's a rope. Somebody elevates, you turn around, you pull the rope, you elevate the other person, that person elevates, you turn around. I didn't think I would make any friends when I moved here. I was like, I just don't even know where to start. And gratefully, I landed with you guys, and I landed with Hemi.Wav, and I backed that message 100%. I could have never seen myself in this space having this conversation with somebody I look up to like you, people that I work with, and never thought I'd have the opportunity to work with like you. So for me, it's such an honor, it's such a gift to just be able to utilize our voices and let people know that, like, we're all just people, and like nobody has a set plan. Nobody has none of us have this all figured out. But I think through conversations like this and through community collaboration, like we can do a lot of really cool shit in this lifetime and open up portals for generations to come. So thank you for opening this portal with me today and having this conversation. And I cannot wait to see what's in store for you. And I'll see you in Brooklyn soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me. I love you. I love a good yap. I love Hemi.Wav. I love Matt. I love Emmy. I love everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a really cool fucking opportunity. Thank you.
For sure. I love you. You're such a foundational piece to Hemi.Wav and really just like the progression of where the scene is right now. Like you are on your own wave. You are so true to what your vision is, and I respect that so much about you. So thanks for sharing, and until next time, and keep an eye out for things coming from BackLeft in 2026, headline shows, releases, collabs, more conversations. It's all coming your way. Thank you for being a part of this first episode. We don't have a plan for a release schedule, but keep your eyes out because there's more coming.
You.
Touche.